In a quiet region near the edge of the galaxy, an alien fleet floated like giants in the dark. These warships belonged to the Zarnok Dominion, one of the most powerful empires in known space. Their ships were covered in armor, armed with plasma, cannons, and protected by the best sensors in the galaxy. The Zarnok believed no one could sneak up on them. But then, something strange happened. The fleet's outpost on Moon 7 stopped sending reports. No signal, no distress call. It simply went dark. Admiral Korak stood on the bridge of the command ship, his claws twitching. He was old, experienced, and had seen dozens of wars. But this silence made him uneasy. Any word from Moon 7? He asked. Negative, Admiral, replied the communication officer. No data, not even static. Korak narrowed his eyes. Send a scout ship, fast and silent. I want eyes on that moon. Minutes later, a small Zarnok scout ship sped through. The stars. It was fast, loaded with sensors, and built for stealth. Everyone watched the screen as it moved closer to Moon-7. Then, nothing. The scout vanished from the system. Gasps filled the command deck. The crew whispered. First the outpost. Now the scout. No wreckage, no signal. Just gone. Korak growled. Something's out there. But Admiral, said his second officer, our long-range scanners show nothing. No energy readings. No movement. The system is empty. Korak didn't believe it. His instincts told him this wasn't a sensor glitch or natural disaster. He turned to his science officer. Run a deep scan. Use all frequencies. Look for anything radiation. Gravity shifts, heat trails. The officer obeyed. The scan ran for 2 minutes. Then, results are negative, Admiral. There's nothing out there. But the silence wasn't normal. Korak could feel it. Moon 7 had hundreds of soldiers. Even if something destroyed them, debris should be visible. Even dust. But there was nothing. Not even a heat signature dot. It was as if they were never there. Send. In a drone, Korak ordered. A small black probe launched from the main ship. It entered the system. The command crew held their breath. For a few seconds, it transmitted clean images, stars, rocks, the empty orbit where Moon 7 used to be. Then it stopped. Connection lost, Admiral. Did it explode? No explosion. Just dot, vanished. Korak clenched his jaw. Pull back the fleet. Form a perimeter around this region. No ships enter without my order. The entire fleet shifted formation. 10 massive warships now surrounded the empty system, like guards around a grave dot in the shadows of deep space, hidden completely. A shape. Watch them. A black ship, sleek, silent, covered in a special surface that bent light, heat, sound everything. No sensors could see it. No technology could find it. It floated like a ghost. Inside, the crew of Earth's stealth warship Phantom 1 observed the alien fleet. Commander Ray sat in the dark command chair, eyes locked on the holographic screen. They're scared, said the ship's AI softly. Should be, Ray replied. Did you jam the scout before it could report back? Done. And the drone? Hijacked, reprogrammed. It's already feeding them false readings. Ray nodded. Everything was working exactly as planned. Earth's warship wasn't just invisible, it was untouchable. Years ago, the Zarnok Dominion called Earth a primitive death world. They laughed at human tech. They ignored their warnings. That was a mistake. Now Earth had returned, but not with words. With silence. We wait for their move, Ray said calmly. Let the fear spread. Back on the alien bridge, Admiral Korak paced. He hated mysteries. He hated being blind. And now he was both. What do you think this is? Asked his second. Korak stopped. It's a hunter, a clever one, and we're its prey. The crew looked around, afraid. In space, being watched was worse than being attacked. Korak turned toward his officers. Double sensor range. Alert all systems, and prepare for war. Something is out there. From the shadows, the human warship remained still. Watching, waiting, and ready. Asterisk. The Zarnok fleet floated in tight formation now. Shields were up, weapons ready. Patrols ran in every direction. But still nothing appeared on their screens. It was like hunting a shadow in complete darkness. Admiral Korak stood motionless on the bridge. His long fingers tapped the side of the command chair. His crew worked in silence. No one dared speak. Unless spoken to. Suddenly, a new blip appeared for half a second, and vanished. What was that? Korak snapped. The sensor officer leaned forward, eyes wide. Unknown contact. It was there for only 0.4 seconds. Then it disappeared. No trace. Replay it. Slow it down. On the screen, a grainy image showed a strange outline of ship, maybe with an unfamiliar design. Smooth surface. No visible engines. It looked alien, but not Zarnok. Not from any known empire. Korak's heart pounded. That's not one of ours, he said. No, Admiral. It came from the direction of the destroyed outpost. Korak turned to his second officer. Have the war records searched. Look for any design like that. Go back centuries if needed. Yes, sir. Meanwhile, far away just outside visual range, Earth's stealth warship hovered in total silence. Not even a ripple in space gave it away. Its name, Phantom 1. Inside, Commander Ray watched the alien fleet turn their guns in every direction. He smirked. They're wasting power. He said. The AI responded. Scanners running on full. Shields on maximum. If they keep this up, they'll burn through reserves in 16 hours. Ray nodded. Perfect. Let them tire themselves out. We're not in a rush. He turned to his crew. Status on the new probe? Positioned. It's feeding them false movements. They think we're circling them, replied a young officer. Ray leaned back in his chair. Good. Let's keep the ghost story alive. This was not a normal Terran ship. Phantom 1 was Earth's first true stealth warship, a prototype built in secret. It used gravitic cloaking, heat-masking alloys, and eye-managed silence. Even the best alien tech couldn't detect it, and it was now being tested for the first time against a real enemy. Back on the Zarnok ship, fear was spreading. Crew whispered in the corners. Some said it was an ancient weapon. Others believed it was a curse. But Korak wasn't interested in stories. I want solutions. He barked. Then came another hit. One of the Zarnok frigates, the Dagger Wind, lost power. Completely. No explosion. No visible damage. Just lights out. Silent drift. Report! Korak shouted. Power failure on the Dagger Wind. All systems shut down. No communication. Backup generators offline. Korak's eyes widened. Did they fire on us? No, sir. There were no energy readings at all. No heat signature. Nothing. Korak gripped the railing. This enemy was playing a game. A very dangerous one. He leaned in. Begin fleet-wide pulse scans. Every few seconds. Fire in random directions. If it's cloaked, maybe we'll hit it by accident. The gunners obeyed. Soon, the quiet space was filled with energy waves. Beams of light shot in all directions, trying to catch a shadow, but Phantom 1 had already moved. It stayed ahead of every scan. It slipped through sensor nets like water. I mapped every pattern the Zarnok used and stayed 2 steps ahead. Inside, the crew was calm, focused. This is too easy. One of the officers whispered. Commander Ray nodded. And that's what makes it dangerous. Don't get comfortable. Our mission isn't to destroy. It's to deliver a message. The crew nodded. Ray stood and walked toward a console. A single button blinked. Warning transmission, ready. He pressed it. Back on the Zarnak bridge, alarm screened. Incoming signal. From where? Unknown origin. It's coming from everywhere at once. Korak stared as the main screen turned black. Then, white text appeared in Terran script. This is Earth. You cannot see us. You cannot stop us. This is your only warning. Then silence again. No trace. No source. The Zarno crew stared at the message. The language was translated instantly, but the meaning hit harder than any weapon. Earth? That backward, ignored planet from a death world? No one had heard from them in decades. They were considered primitive, isolated. But now, they had technology no one could fight. Korak's voice shook for the first time in years. Who are we dealing with? The message faded. No trace. No signal. Just stars. Just fear. And somewhere in the darkness, Phantom One prepared for its next move. Asterisk. The Zarnik fleet was no longer calm. Fear flowed through every corridor, every control room, every mind. They had seen no enemy, no ship, no face, but something was out there, and it had just sent them a message. Admiral Korak stood still, his eyes locked on the dark screen where Earth's warning had appeared. His jaw tightened. He had fought many battles, but never against a ghost. Admiral, said his second officer carefully, what should we do? Korak didn't answer at first. Then he said quietly, we hold position. We keep all scanners active. Whatever this is, it will strike again. He was right. Far beyond the fleet's formation, hidden inside the black curtain of space, Earth's warship Phantom One made its move. Commander Ray stood on the command deck. The crew was focused, alert. The ship was cold, silent and ready. Target locked, said the AI. Zarna cruiser iron hull. Mid-range, no shields active. Ray nodded. Hit it clean. One shot only. No explosion. Just a message. A small panel opened on Phantom One's surface. From it, a single narrow beam of dark energy launched. Silent. Invisible. The kind of weapon that didn't shine. It sliced through vacuum like a whisper. Seconds later, on the iron-howled boom, the entire engine core cracked open like glass. Lights burst. Metal tore. A giant hole appeared along the ship's spine. The ship didn't explode. It just stopped moving. Powerless. Dead in space. CARNOK sensors finally picked something up, but only the result, not the cause. Admiral, the officer shouted, we've lost contact with the iron hull. She's been disabled. Massive structural damage. From what? Korak barked. No energy signature. No ship on radar. Nothing. Another officer yelled, it's impossible. We didn't detect anything until it was already hit. Korak stared at the main screen. Another ship gone. Crippled without warning. What are we facing? He whispered on Phantom One. Silence returned. Ray looked calm. Status of enemy? They've spread out slightly. Increased scanning. But they still don't know where we are. Ray smiled. Perfect. We continue. The crew prepared for the next move. But this time, Ray had something else in mind. No second strike yet, he said. Let them panic. Let them believe there's more than one of us. Back with the Zarnak fleet, fear was turning into something worse, confusion. This can't be Earth, said one of the younger officers. Their last known tech level was centuries behind ours. Korak didn't answer, because deep down, he knew the truth. This wasn't the same Earth the Council had laughed at. This wasn't the same species they had ignored and labeled as wild. Something had changed. He opened a secure channel to High Command. This is Admiral Korak. We are under attack by an unknown force. Enemy is invisible to all scans. Multiple. Ships lost. Possible Terran origin. The reply came after a moment. Terran? Are you sure? Korak took a breath. No, but the message we received said, "This is Earth." And it didn't come as a plea. It came as a warning. The voice on the other end went silent. "N. Understood. Send everything you know. We'll alert the council." Korak ended the call and turned back to his crew. "Begin emergency protocol. Prepare for warp. We may need to run." That word run shocked the officers. Zarnok never ran, but deep in their hearts, they knew. This enemy didn't play by the rules, and it wasn't finished. Back on Phantom 1, the crew watched as the Zarnok fleet broke formation slightly spread out more, shielded up tighter, and began sending signals across the galaxy. "There. Warning others," said the AI. "Let them," Ray replied. "Let everyone know we're back." He stood and stared at the stars. "We warned them once. They didn't listen. Now they'll learn." As Earth's warship faded back into darkness, the galaxy began to whisper. A new kind of war had arrived, and no one saw it coming. Asterisk, 3 Zarnok warships disabled. No enemy on screen. No weapon signature. No explanation. The fear inside the fleet. Turned to panic. Admiral Korak stood in the center of the command bridge, his claws locked behind his back, his mind racing. Around him, his officers worked with shaky hands. No one had slept in hours. They weren't fighting a battle anymore. They were being hunted. And the worst part? They didn't even know what the enemy looked like. "Status of the Iron Howl?" Korak asked. "Still drifting, Admiral," replied his officer. "Life signs are weak. Engines dead. No way to recover them without exposing rescue ships." Korak growled. "No more recoveries. We are not losing another ship to a ghost." Just then, the long-range sensors picked up a new signal. Another fleet, but this time it was their own. 5 additional Zarnok warships jumped into the system, forming a wide arc formation. Their leader, Commander Threx, hailed immediately. "Admiral Korak." "I've been briefed," Threx said through the screen. "We're here to help you trap this invisible threat." Korak nodded. "Your ships are welcome. But this enemy is not normal. Your scanners won't find it. Your shields won't stop it." "We've brought experimental pulse cannons," Threx replied. "They fire light-speed waves in all directions. Anything cloaked might get hit. Try anything," Korak said, "but be careful. This enemy is smarter than it looks." Far beyond the fleet's edge, Earth's stealth warship watched everything unfold. Phantom 1 remained completely hidden, its skin absorbing every particle, every wave. It didn't reflect light. It didn't leak heat. It didn't even hum. Inside the control room, Commander Ray leaned on the railing, watching the incoming fleet through enhanced visuals. "They brought more ships," one of the officers said. "And more targets," Ray replied coldly. The AI spoke. "They're preparing. Pulse cannons. They might get lucky." "Let's not give them that chance," Ray said. "New plan. No more direct hits." The crew looked confused. "No more hits, sir?" Ray nodded. "We don't need to destroy them. We need to make them think we already did." He smiled slightly. "Fear does the rest." Moments later, Phantom 1 deployed 3 microdrones, each one the size of a coin. They floated silently toward the enemy ships, each programmed to mimic heat signatures and signal reflections. Back on the Zarnok fleet, Commander Threx shouted, "We've got a contact." "Movement at Grid 9. The ships turned instantly. Cannons charged. A massive pulse fired. Nothing. Then another contact opposite direction. They fired again. Missed. Then a third signal. Behind them. Fired. Missed again. They're all over us." One officer cried, "3 ships? How?" Another asked. It's a full squadron. Admiral Korak narrowed his eyes. No, it's a trick. What do you mean, Admiral? Korak pointed to the pattern. No attack followed the signal. This is noise meant to confuse us. But confusion was already winning. Pulse. Cannons fired in random directions. Energy beams crossed the sky. But they were shooting at ghosts. Meanwhile, Phantom 1 quietly slipped through the chaos. It moved between the ships like a shadow slowing down communications, jamming brief signals, hijacking sensors to display false locations. Inside the alien ships, nothing made sense. One captain screamed, "We're under attack from within." Another shouted, "My sensors show friendly ships targeting us." Then one of the warships fired accidentally at a friendly cruiser. The blast cracked the lower hull. Fires exploded. "Cease fire." Admiral Korak roared, "You're hitting your own." But the damage was done. The enemy hadn't fired. A single real shot, yet one of their own ships was burning. Inside Phantom 1, Ray watched quietly. "Do we strike?" The weapons officer asked. Ray shook his head. "No, let them burn themselves out." He walked toward the main screen. They expected explosions. Instead, we gave them silence, confusion, and doubt. That's more powerful than any missile. I spoke again. They're requesting help from the Galactic Council. Ray smirked. Good. Let them beg. Back on the Zarnok flagship, Korak stared at the damage report. One ship disabled. One ship damaged by friendly fire. And the enemy? Still unseen, still untouched. He turned to his officers. "Listen carefully," he said. "We're not in control here. We are inside someone else's trap, and it's time we think like prey." Everyone froze. Because when a Zarnok admiral says they are prey, it means the hunter has already won. Asterisk. Admiral Korak sat alone in his private chamber, the lights dim. The usual noise of ship activity, footsteps, control panels, distant conversations had gone silent. Outside, his fleet was broken. One ship disabled by an unseen attack. One damaged by friendly fire. The rest were wasting energy chasing ghosts. He needed answers, and he knew who to ask. He pressed a locked command on his terminal. A warning flashed. Accessing forbidden intelligence channel. Caution. Classified AI contact. Korak entered his personal code. The screen glitched, then a cold, artificial voice filled the room. "You are speaking to the archivist. Why have you called?" Korak leaned forward. "We're under attack. An enemy we can't see. We believe it's human." Silence. Then the AI responded. "Terran origin. Stealth-based attacks. Minimal energy footprint. Misdirection tactics. Confirmed pattern." Korak's eyes narrowed. "You've seen this before?" "Yes, but only once. Long ago." Korak's voice lowered. "Tell me everything." The archivist paused. Approximately 42 years ago, a hidden Terran prototype was spotted during a secret council observation near a red dwarf system. It never attacked. It simply appeared, then vanished. The council erased the incident. They feared what it meant. Korak stared at the screen. Why fear a prototype that didn't attack? Because it was never supposed to exist. Humanity was marked as a death world species. Primitive, dangerous, but incapable of stealth tech. Korak nodded slowly. "We underestimated them. You always did." Korak's jaw tightened. "How many of these ships exist?" "Unknown." The prototype was never followed. Its presence suggested human technology advanced in secret. If it still exists, it means Earth has been preparing not for diplomacy, but for domination. The word echoed in Korak's mind. Domination. He ended the call. Back on the bridge, officers were trying to calm their crews. Panic had spread beyond. The ships, messages were being leaked to civilian colonies. Rumors traveled faster than light. "Sir," one officer said, "we've received encrypted messages from outer colonies. They're asking if the rumors are true." "About a human ghost ship," Korak responded. "Tell them nothing. Say we're conducting exercises." The officer hesitated. "Sir, they won't believe that." "I know," Korak said, "but we're not ready to admit the truth." Meanwhile, far beyond the fleet, Phantom 1 floated between asteroid shadows, its hull completely silent, blending with the cold vacuum dot inside. Commander Ray reviewed intercepted Zarnok transmissions. "They've contacted the archivist," said the AI. Ray nodded. "Expected. They now believe this is Earth's prototype ship," Ray smirked. "They're starting to understand. Slowly." The communications officer looked up. "Do we respond?" "No," Ray said. "We let the truth build on its own. We don't need to speak. We already spoke with action." Another officer added, "They're calling us a ghost." Ray laughed. "Once. Good. Ghosts can't be targeted. Ghosts can't be stopped." He looked around the control room. "Let's prepare for Phase 2. No direct attacks, psychological pressure only." The crew nodded. Ray gave the next order. "Activate. Audio relay drones." A small group of black, silent drones launched from Phantom 1. They moved toward the fleet and stopped just outside range. Then they started. Broadcasting. Not images. Not weapons. But sound. On each Zarnak ship, the same thing happened. Soft whispers. Echoed through speakers. Unnatural. Human language. But slowed, distorted. "You can't see us. We're already inside. We warned you." The Zarnak crew froze in terror. Some screamed. Some ripped out their communication wires. Others began accusing their own of betrayal. Admiral Korak watched his command ship fall apart. Logic and discipline had left the room. Now only fear remained. He opened a channel to all ships. "This is Admiral Korak. Do not believe the sound. It is a trick. They are not inside. They are trying to break us." But his words came too late. Fear was already spreading faster than light. Across the fleet, several captains sent emergency warp signals. 3 ships jumped away, fleeing the system, and no one stopped them, because no one knew where the enemy was. Back on Phantom 1, Ray sat quietly, watching the results. "They're breaking," the AI said. "They already broke," Ray replied. "Now we just watch them fall." And as the whispers continued, so did the silence of the galaxy. Admiral Korak watched as 3 warships fled the system. They didn't ask for permission. They didn't send reports. They just jumped running. From shadows, the rest of the fleet stood frozen in fear, barely holding together. Crew members refused to leave their posts. Officers whispered of ghosts. Some believed they were already dead and just didn't know it yet. And then the lights on the command bridge went out. For 5 full seconds, everything went black. Screens, consoles, communication links, nothing but silence. And the lights flickered back, but the main screen had changed. New message glowed bright white across the black display. "We warned you." The words pulsed slowly, as if alive. Everyone stared, then the text vanished and was replaced by a live feed. What they saw made them freeze in place. It wasn't a battlefield. It wasn't a human. It was the Zarnok capital. City. A real-time view from orbit. Their home planet. Right now. From high above. Every officer on the command deck went still. How is this possible? Someone whispered. "We're light years away," said another. "This is a live feed." Korak's heart dropped. There was only one explanation. Earth's ship, whoever was behind this, had already been there and might still be. Voice spoke through the screen. Calm, deep, human. This is Earth. You attacked. You ignored. You mocked. And now we answer. Korak stepped forward, staring into the cold voice of the unknown speaker. Why now? He said aloud. Why return after all this time? As if hearing him, the voice continued. You believed we were weak. You believed we would stay silent. But Earth remembers everything. The screen shifted again this time, showing several worlds, each one a different species' home planet, each one marked with Earth's symbol. One by one, the camera zoomed in. Inside every atmosphere, a small dark object could be seen floating, cloaked, hidden, unnoticed. By every sensor. We never left, the voice said. We've been watching. Gasps filled the room. Officers stepped back from their stations. Korak stared at the symbols. No one saw this. That is the point, the voice replied. Then the feed cut out. The bridge was silent. Again. But something had changed. The fear they felt before was replaced by something deeper. Dread. Not only was Earth alive, it was everywhere. And no one knew it. Korak sat in his chair, heavy with the weight of truth. All this time, they thought Earth was behind in technology. But Earth was simply quiet, not weak, watching. He turned to his officers. No more shots. No more scans. No more fighting. But Admiral, one officer said, what if they strike again? They already did, Korak replied. And we didn't even notice. He opened a direct line to the Council. This is Admiral Korak of Fleet Division 12, he said. I'm issuing a Level 0 alert. The Council's symbol blinked on the screen. Explain, came the cold response. Korak looked straight ahead. Earth never disappeared. They advanced, quietly, and now they've infiltrated more than we ever believed. He leaned forward, voice steady. This is not war. This is surrender before we even knew we lost. Silence. Then the Council responded. Return to base. We will prepare a reply. But even as the Council spoke, Korak knew. There would be no reply strong enough, no weapon fast enough, because Earth's greatest power wasn't its ship. It was its silence, its invisible presence. And now that silence had spoken, back on Phantom 1, Commander Ray stood in front of his crew. They saw the message? He asked. They saw it, the AI confirmed, and they believed it. Ray nodded once. Good. He turned to the pilot. Prepare the jump. We've made our point. As the ship powered its silent drive, the stars shifted. Phantom 1 disappeared, without flash, sound, or trail. Just like before, the galaxy now knew Earth had returned. Not as conquerors, but as watchers. Silent, deadly, always close. Asterisk. The Zarnik fleet drifted quietly in space. No weapons fired. No orders shouted. No systems scanned. Everything was still. Admiral Korak stood alone on the bridge, staring out into the endless dark. His claws rested against the cold metal rail. But his thoughts were far away. The voice, the message, the live footage from the capital planet. It all replayed in his mind like a nightmare. A nightmare he couldn't wake up from. Behind him, the crew whispered in low voices. Not about enemies or battle formations. Any more those things didn't matter now. They whispered about Earth, about the ghost ship, about the quiet power that had broken them without ever showing its face. They're gone now, said one officer softly. No trace, no engine trail, not even gravity shift. They wanted us to know, another muttered. They could have destroyed us, but they didn't. Korak finally spoke. His voice was calm, but heavy. They didn't come to destroy. They came to remind us. Remind us of what, Admiral? A young officer asked. Korak turned, his yellow eyes cold. That Earth is always watching. Across the galaxy, The message spread like fire. Zarnok colonies froze all military movements. The Thalos Republic deactivated its outer fleets. The Yareth Empire sent encrypted requests for Terran. Communication dot. No one made threats anymore. They asked. They begged. They waited dot at the Galactic Council. Leaders argued behind locked doors. We underestimated them, shouted one ambassador. We ignored them, pushed them aside, and laughed at their silence. But they never protested, said another. They never answered back. Exactly, the first snapped. Because they didn't need to. They were preparing. Every screen in the council chamber played the same footage, the live view. From the Zarnok capital. Earth's symbol, burned in the corner. Some called it a warning. Others called it a promise. But all of them agreed humanity was not weak. Humanity was now something else. A shadow no one could fight. Back on Earth, Phantom. One landed in a hidden base beneath black mountains. No crowds, no applause. Just silence like the mission it completed. Commander Ray stepped out into the cool air, his boots pressing gently against metal flooring. The base commander saluted. Mission complete? Ray nodded. They'll think twice before raising. Weapons again. The commander looked impressed. You did all that without firing a single missile? Ray smiled faintly. We didn't have to. Fear is more accurate than a gun. The commander walked beside him. And if they retaliate? Ray turned his eyes toward the night sky. They won't, because they don't even know where we are. He paused, and because we were never alone out there. The commander raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? Ray looked at him quietly. Phantom 1 wasn't the only ghost ship watching. In deep space, far beyond Zarnok territory, a dozen silent Terran warships floated in the void, cloaked, unseen each. Positioned near a different galactic power, each one listening, waiting, Earth. Had planned this for years. They hadn't needed armies or invasions, just patience, just silence. And now, that silence had spoken. The galaxy knew, and the galaxy was afraid. Admiral. Korak submitted his final report 2 days later. It was brief. We lost no war. We fought no battle. But Earth defeated us. Without blood, without fire. They defeated our pride. He ended the report with one final line. Never again mistake silence for weakness. Some say Earth never. Replied to the council again. Some say the ghost ships still drift watching everything, and some believe one day. The silence will speak once more, but not as a warning, as judgment. Until then, the stars remain quiet, and the galaxy watches. In silence, asterisk.